break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob Benne, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Time for the top 3 stories of the day. KSLSports.com, brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. Cherish your love with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials. J. Brooks Jewelers. All right, Christian, where do you want to start today?
Number 1, Jackson Benne had a pick 6 for the Utes on Saturday. Sharrieff Shah has high hopes for him.
Jackson was primarily a safety, but we moved him inside with the thought and expectation that he would be able to use a lot of his natural ability, his length, his speed, to just make some plays, and he's done that. It doesn't really account for the things that he hasn't done because we're just a ways away.
Another guy who Witt has talked about maybe getting even more reps on the offensive side of the ball. I think he had the first catch of the first game against UCLA, if I remember correctly. At least he had a big catch. But Witt has talked more about getting him going offensively in addition to his defense, which I will see as they go. Wyoming probably doesn't pose the biggest threat to Utah, but as they start getting into games like Texas Tech, how much are they going to use these guys both ways? I'm curious.
It's interesting to listen to Sharrieff talk corners and talk about his players, and he has so much credibility. And I got to tell you, I remember when Sharrieff first got hired, Ben, and God, I'd have to go back and look at the year. But do you remember Sharrieff's relationship with the program before that at all?
No, remind me.
Christian, Sharrieff Shah was a corner for the Utes back in the early to mid-'90s, who eventually got his law degree and was a practicing lawyer, a partner at a law firm around town, and would come...
Personal injury, right?
Yeah, would come and be around the program from time to time because Sharrieff has a great story. He's a really great example of what Coach Witt wants out of a football program.
He's ideally what a college athlete is.
Developing humans and all these things. He has just a remarkable story. And he's smart and he's a great communicator. And he would come around the program and he would have an influence, but it would more be like, hey, come be a positive influence around the program, talk to our guys, and that sort of thing. And he was really good at that. And Witt made him a corners coach, just plucked him out of the boardroom, the law office, the courtroom, and dropped him in as a corners coach. And I thought, how's this going to go? Like I thought, okay, recruiting-wise, I'm sure he's gonna really identify with young people, like a real strength. But there's more to recruiting. There's more organization and nuts and bolts and stuff that he's never done. And then come on and be a coach. And I admittedly had public doubts that it was going to be successful. And fast forward to just listening to that clip. That dude has all the coaching credibility in the world, coaching this position at Utah, part of this staff. And if you look at the players that have come, the big storyline in the Bears game the other day, I'm watching as it's getting ready to kick off, and we're going to watch Fingernails deal. What Joe Buck and Troy Aikman were like, huge storyline in this game, guys. I don't know how the Bears defense is going to function without Jalen Johnson, big star, huge impact NFL player. Like Sharrieff is a total success story at Utah. And part of the reason that everybody has such high hopes for Utah is because nobody doubts the defense for a good reason. That they're consistently good. And they have a good staff, and they recruit well, and they recruit to what they do. And Tanavasa left, and he's doing great at BYU. Did anybody in this room have any doubt that they were going to find guys that were going to be great? They've had a stud corner at Utah going back pre-Sharrieff Shah. They find a guy every year. They do it.
Yep.
And it's pretty remarkable. They deserve a lot of credit. But Sharrieff deserves a ton of credit as a coach. Because it was no guarantee that he was going to come in and be awesome. That wasn't his background. That wasn't his thing.
I'll be very curious what his role is when Witt decides to retire and Morgan moves up to be the head coach, and what role, if maybe he just continues to play corners. I don't know. We'll see if he gets a bigger role.
I don't know if he wants one, honestly.
He may not want. Yeah, this may be the ideal role for him.
Because if he wanted to make $1 zillion, what he'd be doing? Be a partner at his law firm.
Yeah, he probably could be already, or open his own firm.
Yeah.
I'll use his name. I will also add, it's just going to be interesting to watch how the corners progress. Corners are a room that has a lot of talent. Smith Snowden, Bennee's a very good player. They need to play better than they have so far. And I don't mean those two specifically, though Jackson Benne even had blown coverage. But I think solidifying that group is going to be really key throughout Big 12 play.
Now, how about this, too, for a transition to another huge story today?
Okay.
Sharrieff Shah is married to
Jen Shaw.
local reality TV star Jen Shaw.
Yes, sir.
In other local reality star TV news, Taylor Frankie Paul will be the next Bachelorette.
Which is not our number 2 story, actually.
No, I'm tying this into story 1.
But this is 1.5, 1B.
I'm tying it in.
Jake, remind us who Taylor Frankie Paul is.
She is the star. She's kind of
She's one of the stars.
but she's like the main one of the
Do you
secret.
feel like she's the main one?
I do.
Well, I kind of feel like she was like 1A, 1B.
The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Taylor Frankie Paul will be the next Bachelorette.
Yeah.
If you were a contestant, my buddy Bill almost made that show. He made final cuts on casting for The Bachelorette. Like a winemaker, so he had a fairly interesting, handsome guy.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were a contestant, Ben, would you be competing for the heart of Taylor Frankie Paul, or would you be kind of mailing it in?
I think you probably get paid the longer you survive, right? Don't you? I would imagine you get, maybe $10,000 an episode or something like that if you're a contestant, $5,000 an episode. So yeah, stick around, and then leave her at the altar, and then be the guy who left Taylor Frankie Paul at the altar.
The couple from Love Island just broke up. The winning couple.
There should be a contractual obligation for them to stay married for a period of time, and they should film that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you have to stay married for 5 years. If you want to get to this $5 million or whatever at the end of the rainbow, you have to stay married for 5 years, and we're going to film every second of it Ed TV style.
Okay. Revisit.
Ed TV, Christian, was a movie
television.
starring Matthew McConaughey, a younger Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, Ed TV. I thought you said MTV.
Ed TV.
Ed TV.
In probably, what would you say, Ben? Early, mid-90s?
Matthew McConaughey, the Texas fan?
Yeah. Ellen randomly
No, it was
has...
later than that. It was right around Truman Show, right?
It was, they came
late
out...
90s, early 2000s.
Around the same time, yeah. Woody Harrelson's in it pretty good.
Yeah. The concept of following somebody with a camera was
Ed TV.
crazy.
It was. What's next, Christian?
Number 2, Lauri Markkanen and Finland are advancing to the Final Four at Eurobasket.
Coast passed Georgia today, which was basically the best opponent you could face. Georgia had also kind of stunned some teams en route. They beat France in the round of 16 to advance to the group of 8, and is a lesser opponent than Giannis in Greece and Luka in Slovenia that is still playing. So they got to avoid them, but they were up 17 at the half. It got a little closer in the third, but they really coasted this morning. So they go to the round of 4 now, the semifinals, the farthest Finland's ever gone. Cool story for Lauri. He was already the biggest athlete in the country of Finland, and now he's truly a legend.
There's not some football player that's a bigger deal than Lauri?
There's hockey players that are a big deal, and there's probably been a couple of soccer players. His brother was a professional soccer player, but... No, Lauri just won the Finnish Sportsman of the Year, which is like he's the first basketball player who's ever won it. But he's just excelling at a level I think that we've not really ever seen before. And Eurobasket's huge. Eurobasket, second to the Olympics, is the best European basketball tournament.
How are the Georgians still playing? I don't know.
Goga Batadze is on that roster.
Okay. Because, then this is such a stupid American-like discussion, but there are plenty of Eastern European countries that are very good at basketball. I just, for some reason, don't picture the Georgians being one. Maybe it's because the most famous Georgian of all time is Stalin, who is quite short.
Uh-huh.
But I just don't picture the Georgians being good at basketball.
I do wonder if some of what we have seen, and this isn't the case, Lauri beat Jokic. I mean, that was a pretty loaded team. It wasn't everybody. I think Bogdanovic was hurt and didn't play. But some of these teams, like France specifically, doesn't have Wemby and doesn't have Rudy Gobert right now. And they still have a very talented roster. But I wonder if they have shaped their roster so much to be about those guys in international play that when they disappear, they don't actually know how to play. So Georgia beats France as a team that's very fractured. And the key identity of their team is gone. While, Georgia has Batadze, that's their best player, or Finland has Markkanen, that's their best player. They really kind of know how to play around him. And they're getting those countries are getting better. Having those NBA players, Batadze, Markkanen, starts to breed more players from those countries, right? I'm sure Lauri has put a ton of money into Finnish basketball. I don't know that for sure, but just kind of knowing how these things work. You just get a guy, Steve Nash in Canada, and now look, 10 years later, Canada's a near superpower in basketball. And Tony Parker comes through in France, and now they're a near superpower. And same thing's going to happen for Serbia. Finland already has a kid coming up. So you're going to see these countries just continue to get better and better.
Are you kidding? If I were Lauri, I wouldn't give him a dang dime. Why would he?
You give me money.
They should give him money.
Give
yeah.
me cash.
Is Michael Jordan giving Team USA basketball money?
They
No.
might be giving North Carolina money. They
Different.
are also paying him, though, right, as a Jordan school. So he's milking them for probably every penny he can get.
Different. Lauri doesn't owe him anything.
No,
Are you
he
kidding?
doesn't. But, you give back. You become a national hero. It's hard to turn that phone call down, I'm sure.
Most people don't.
You know what he did? He went and served in the Army
Well,
2
that's
years ago.
a legal requirement. But
Yeah, fine. Actually, there is somebody who's not doing it, a hockey player who's not doing it. And they're like, you can't do that. And he's like, watch me.
Well, an off-season at boot camp sounds a whole lot better than jail. So I don't know.
There's a Finnish player. I think it's a Finnish hockey player who's not going to go do it.
And then now can't go home. That sounds great.
I don't know. Worked for Ennis Cantor. Different reasons
That
he
is
couldn't go home.
that is not a funny joke.
He couldn't go home for different reasons.
And came dangerously close to not going anywhere for the rest of his life if it weren't for
Yeah, he's in an airport.
an airport.
Oh,
and
it's Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah,
He's
it's Mikko.
He's
Yeah.
a huge name.
Yeah, plays for the Stars. Yeah.
Well, he's staying in the States for a while.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the story is and how he's trying to get out of it, but yeah, it's like a huge deal.
Just go for an off-season and do boot camp.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Probably not a big
Lauri
event.
did it. I don't think they're going to send you to war. Now they're closer every day, so we'll see.
All right, what's next?
Number 3, the NBA to change rules on end-of-quarter heaves.
So if you've watched the NBA, and this has been a quiet pet peeve of mine, but I think everyone who watches the league, is guys are afraid to shoot full-court heaves or half-court shots at the end of quarters because they're afraid it's going to hurt their field goal percentage, which is an area where analytics has over-invaded sports to make people care so much about these couple of percentage points of, taking 5. How many are you taking a season, honestly? 10? 15? Maybe? You're talking about 15 missed shots, really radically changing. The league is going to change it to a missed field goal for the team and not a missed field goal for the player. So while the team's field goal percentage will dip, the individual player will not dip. So you will no longer see guys taking that one extra step, being like, oh, didn't get the shot off in time, but I still shot it. Guys are going to shoot that ball more, which I guess is a good fix. But just say, look, I don't know how you fix it. You can't fine players for not shooting the basketball, but come on, guys, shoot the basketball. Who cares if it affects your field goal percentage by 1% at the end of the year?
This is a problem.
And there are guys who probably get paid based on what their field goal percentage is. You get bonuses for things like that. And I'm sure there are guys out there who'd say, yeah, it cost me $10,000 to shoot that shot, so I'm not going to. But yes, this is
a problem that did not need solving.
correct. It should have been solved otherwise. Should have been an email. Shoot the shot.
The problem is that people are dumb, and so they only look at numbers and they think that is truly the identity of everything going on. Players are smart enough to know that people are dumb, so they're not going to. It's the whole Shedeur Sanders taking 100 sacks instead of just throwing it away.
Yeah.
And we've lost the point.
Yep.
We've lost the idea. You know what? Players, don't shoot it then. Just dribble out the clock. One of those goes in a season.
Yeah.
And I think we'll all survive if you just dribble it out. This is a solution searching for a problem. And the solution, as every good cat in the wall, enables the problem further, the actual problem further, which is that players, fans, owners, general managers are way too wrapped up in the stats.
Yeah.
It's way too important to everybody involved. And instead of just taking a big step back and being like, wait a minute, you're talking about 10 shots a season here, and that's if you actually play. So
Right.
what are we talking about here? What exactly are we talking about here?
I am glad more players are going to be shooting the shots. So if that fixes it, I guess, but it just...
But truly, you don't care.
It's an eye roll.
Part of you is like, oh, okay.
Well,
I guess
to the point I've
shooting-
never talked about it
but
before.
You don't really care.
No, I've never written about it. I've never talked about how it bugs me. It does when I watch it. This hopefully makes it a little bit better. But you're right. This is a big, not big, 'cause it doesn't change a whole lot, but it's a solution to a problem that wasn't overwhelming. Clearly the league didn't care and people didn't care. This doesn't bring more eyeballs to the sport.
Do you know what this is? This is my guess.
Okay.
This is somebody in the NBA office that their whole job is doing nothing.
Okay.
And they're getting paid a crazy amount to
like your CIA job.
right, to do nothing. Just take up space.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, okay, well, once in a while, I got to do something. Well, look at that Ben Anderson. Yeah, he's doing something.
Yeah.
I got to do something.
Yeah.
And this guy's like, do I have a solution for you?
Fix full court Heaves.
We're going to fix it, and we're going to fix it good, and you're going to look like a champ. And they go, that's why you work here, Bob.
See you next year.
God, what a stupid story. Anyway. Okay, well, I'm sure happy for the Heavers of the world that
I'll be curious.
It will not count against them.
I'll be curious how many players still forget that that's a thing and take the extra dribble. You know, you've never seen Dame take a full court shot because he would always do the extra dribble. You saw way too many guys do it. It was annoying. Hopefully it fixes it, but we'll see if guys still forget that that's the new rule.
I find so many things players do annoying.
Yeah.
Joe Ingles doing the take foul.
Yeah.
Was maybe the most annoying play in the history of basketball.
They did get rid of that.
All right, stay tuned. We'll have more Jake and Ben coming up next. Update to Kawhi Leonard's story. We have further evidence, Ben. I'm curious to how you're reading it.
Okay.
Stay tuned. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.